Bentley has long offered 12-cylinder sedans and massive, gas-guzzling Tourers. Pivoting its new-age SUV toward the hybrid future was almost obvious. Steering its last long-nosed sedan into that skid is a far more dramatic move. This is the flagship of a company long defined by 12- and 8-cylinder gas engines. A V6 Bentley sounded impossible just a decade ago. The company credits a host of technological improvements to making this possible. The goal is to use the instant-on torque of the electric motors and a pair of turbos to keep things forceful from a stop. Peak torque reaches 553 pound-feet, a hair behind the twin-turbo V8 Flying Spur's 563 pound-feet output. Its 2.9-liter V6 is 0.1 liters smaller than the 3.0 in the Bentayga hybrid, but a higher specific output and more electric oomph gives it a 93 HP advantage over the company's first hybrid model. The electric motors tap into a 14.1-kWh battery pack. There's no word on range yet, but Bentley's other hybrid provides a low bar to clear. The Bentayga hybrid goes just 18 miles on a charge. It uses a larger battery, so the Flying Spur might be even more limited. These vehicles aren't really about saving on gas bills as much as offering some zero-emissions capability, useful for European city centers that are looking to ban internal combustion cars. Tax credits and carpool lane access may also sway buyers when the hybrid arrives early next year. There's no crazy design flourishes or extra special interiors, just a hybrid badge to let people know you got the slightly less thirsty version. As for the rest of us, the V-8s and W12s aren't gone yet. Rover chief engineer Maurice Wilks acquired a Jeep for farm use and realized it was the perfect type of vehicle for post-war Britain. In 1947, Rover built a prototype based on a Jeep frame. The aluminum-bodied production model came a year later. The Series 1 came in short and long wheelbase versions and a variety of body styles. Engines and gearboxes came from 1930s Rovers, but early series used an unusual four-wheel drive system with a freewheeling front axle. A more conventional four-wheel drive system arrived in 1950. New bodywork distinguished the Series 2, which arrived in 1958. It also saw the first widespread use of a much-loved 2.25-liter four-cylinder gas engine, while the A model saw a new 2.25-liter diesel. The Series 2 is generally regarded as the sweet spot. Still rugged and basic, but with early kinks ironed out. Also launched during the Series 2's run was the forward control, with a cab-forward layout that greatly increased cargo capacity. A 2.6-liter inline-six was introduced in 1967, and in 1968 the headlights moved from the grille to the fenders. For its third decade, the off-roader got a reprofiled hood and a new grille. The interior was modernized with a plastic dash and instruments directly ahead of the driver, instead of centrally located. The most significant mechanical tweaks were a fully synchronized gearbox and an alternator instead of a generator. In 1979, the Series 3 inherited the Range Rover's V8 and 5-speed. Throughout the 70s, Toyota's FJ40 Land Cruiser outshined and outsold the Series 3, spurring Rover to make big changes for the next generation of its off-roader. Introduced as the 110, a reference to its wheelbase, the new Land Rover was better on and off-road thanks to a wider track and coil springs. A permanent four-wheel drive system replaced the switchable setup. Rover added the short wheelbase 90 model and an extended version called, initially, the 127. The model finally got a name, Defender, in 1990. It was briefly sold in the US from 1993 until 1997. The last Defender rolled off the line in 2016. Over the model's 68-year run, Land Rover built more than 2 million.